Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the Path.
And you're listening to Live from the Path. We're coming from the Pathway Studios here in Johnston proper. All right, Boova, here's the deal. I'm going to let you tell that joke.
Yes. All right. Here's the deal.
Okay, go ahead and fire it up.
Thanks, Dan. Hey, don't turn the laughter on yet. All right. What does a dandelion eat? Anybody?
What?
Dandegazelles.
I missed it.
Yes.
I feel sick.
Hey, man.
I also feel sick. Yeah.
What's
You think it's that joke? Because he told that joke earlier, and I didn't know. I mean, I was
It was
nauseous.
funny.
But I also ate some rough pizza, so I mean, I couldn't pin it down.
I was gardening today with a friend, and he made that joke, and I laughed.
What? You were...
Wait.
I would... Wait. Yeah, me and Dan are stuck on the same detail.
Yeah, every part of the story is interesting.
Hold up.
You you were gardening with a friend?
I was gardening with a friend, yes.
I need more detail. Like,
I'm pretty sure I've never said that sentence in my life.
What were you
Hey,
gardening?
actually, that's a funny thing. That's going to bring up something I want to talk about. Me and my friends have finally become men. All right? Recently it happened.
you're boys.
No, we were boys up until this
Two
point.
men.
But we took stock because on Saturday we went to the farmer's market together. Okay?
This has to do with
And
gardening.
We did not go for anything shy of I needed produce. And he needed seeds and plants and stuff.
Wow.
And we're...
Where do you guys keep the seeds and plants?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
It's the first time. Here's the deal. It's the first
Were
time
they
I've ever
legal?
gone to the farmer's market, not for a breakfast burrito. I was like, I actually want to see what Iowa has to offer. I have never been in a place in my life where I'm actually eating vegetables enough to need to save money on vegetables. And so I'm just like, let's just see what's out there. And so walked around this farmer's market for like 2.5 hours looking for stuff. I ended up buying a bottle of water, and that was it because that stuff's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
But
Are you
Actually, I had
surprised that the vegetables did not come in like a white plastic bag?
No, I was
from the freezer section.
I was excited about that part because I was like, hey, fresh produce, good stuff. And like there's some sweet stuff in Iowa. We have like amazing grass-fed beef places that like I'm excited to try steaks from there, and then all kinds of stuff, whatever. But we go there. We are with one of my buddies who has a son walking around, and he's just, I love that guy, and he's taking care of one of my god kids, and he's doing such a great job of not arguing with him. Like the kid was trying to go crazy, and he did an amazing job just calming the kid down and just being a really good dad about stuff. And I'm like, this sounds really weird, and I don't know how else to say this to you, but I'm proud of you, man. Like, as a man, stepping up and being a good father and not getting aggravated about stuff when your son throws a temper tantrum, but truly walking through it the way that you should. I'm proud of you. And I'm just like, did we just all become men today? Like, is this what happened? Because, like, earlier, I switched out the air filter on my truck, and that's not a very difficult thing to do. But 6 months ago, I would have never said to myself, hey, I need to do that. I'm going to grab a screwdriver and do it. And go to O'Reilly's and talk about stuff that I know what I'm saying and actually get an air filter, right?
I got a red truck.
But that all,
Do you have
yeah,
a
exactly.
filter for the red
Like
ones?
I knew
This was before Boova's pubescent change. He was like, I got a red truck.
Yeah, exactly. Finally in my life, I don't walk to the O'Reilly's and go, it's blue and it's got an F.
It goes
somewhere.
boom, boom.
I've heard the commercials say F series. I don't know what kind. No, I walked in, I gave the guy what I needed. I got an air filter, walked out and fixed it, and my truck runs a little bit better. So, so all this led up to today. We are outside. They are working on fixing up a lot of the property value in their home because they're looking into selling it soon. And so we're doing gardening. We're putting a flower bank or a flower.
Wait, is this the Dandy
Flower bed.
Gazelle guy?
Yeah.
Because he has no credibility right now.
Well, he's putting flower beds in the back, and I'm kind of helping him a little bit. And then there's a bunch of dandelions, and I offered to mow the backyard because it looked gross. He was working on the flowers. The yard need mowed. I thought that was kind of funny. But and then he says, "Hey man, what do dandelions eat?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "Dandy gazelles." And we got a good chuckle out of that. I don't know if it was from heat exhaustion because we were outside today gardening or what, but yeah, that happened. We're all men now.
It's like when those kind of jokes are told, like a bunny hops by with a rainbow trail out of his rear hind, and then just magic things happen.
Right?
That joke's terrible.
All right. Here's what I'll say, though. It was funny to me because it was on the spot. And my friend is not known to be that funny of a guy on the spot.
Wait, so you can tell bad jokes as long as you're not funny in general?
Surprisingly enough,
Crap,
yes.
I never thought about that. if I didn't spend all my time being hilarious, my jokes would go over.
Right,
way
exactly.
better.
Make this work.
If I let them be few and far between, they'd be much more magical. Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going to start following up every joke that kind of bails with, oh, I set too high of a bar. That's my problem.
Exactly. See, if you go 6 months without making a joke at all, and then you come up with
Yeah, that's true.
if you come up with one that could be funny to like a 5-year-old, right? Then someone's gonna go, that guy's normally not funny at all. Great job.
That's true. It's funny when the grandma passes gas.
Right.
People are just disappointed in me.
Right, exactly.
because I've
I do it.
overdone it.
I do it often, and people are just like, "Hey, man, that's the third time in the last couple of minutes. It's like taco night last night. Leave me alone."
Okay, noted. All right, you're hanging out. You're listening to Live from the Path. Here's the deal. I'm going to tell you this. So if you only listen to the program on the audio podcast, you didn't get to take in the visual of my disappointment in Boova's description of what goes on in his unmanly life and in that joke. So if you really want to get the full effect of what I've thought about that, you go to livefromthepath.org and or YouTube or whatever and just watch the show. And you can I don't want you thinking that because I didn't say anything that I didn't have a reaction to it.
Yeah.
'Cause I think
Disappointment takes many forms.
Right, it implies something about my character that is not right, and I'd like to set the record straight by you watching my face as Boova tells that story about him and another dude buying kohlrabi down at the farmers market or whatever.
The nonverbals speak loudly.
That's right. I'm trying to handle this in a Christian way. I want you to soak it in visually. Okay. All right. Here's what we got going on the show tonight. Hey, there were a couple articles. Boova, how old are you?
25.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. So there was an article there's an article in Relevant Magazine said 5 things to stop doing in your 20s.
Installing flower bank.
Hey, man, it was pretty cool.
Using app to determine manhood. Bought seeds. Check.
Use MEMS for reliable office
Mems?
banter.
Come on, man.
What?
Mems?
It's not memes.
Yes, it is.
It's not a long E.
Oh my gosh.
Mem. Mem.
It's got Mike. It's got to be.
I checked
it ends
out-
in an E. It's got to be a long E.
I checked out the memes.
It's French.
No, it's not.
Mem. Yeah, mem is French for saying.
But it's not French.
Ben, Google it.
It's not even French for saying.
I didn't
but
think so.
All right. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about that. There was an update. You guys remember when we were talking about Harold Camping on Family Radio was
Yes.
predicting the end of the world?
no.
Okay, so after his he had said this is going to be all the people from his station were like buying fancy cars, going all out, driving the buses around, and of course it doesn't happen. And so he waits a few days and then ultimately retires, but he's still left with this radio station who was like really gone full in with this propaganda. So we're going to get an update on how they're doing.
Oh yeah.
See what's going on in the Family Radio section. Here's the deal: we are living proof that you can have a terrible show and still stay on the air. So I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise
True.
that they're still running.
They probably still have advertisers.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of ex-advertisers that we used to have, I was tooting around on Trash Day in Pleasant Hill or whatever, looking for garbage, and someone had thrown away 2 Bob Eisenhower signs.
No.
I thought that's wrong. That's wrong. So
I
picked
love
them
finding
up.
Bob Eisenhower
I
signs.
picked up signs up and I said, Bob, I'm dropping this crap off at your place. And he goes, hey, thanks. Who is this?
Seriously?
Yeah, I had changed phone numbers and I forgot to tell Bob. And so I texted him like, hey, Bob, I'm throwing this crap off at your place. And I took a picture of his realtor signs. And so he could have taken that a multitude of ways. Like,
Maybe it was someone who was sick of him being
yeah,
their
that's
realtor.
right. You're a terrible realtor. I'm throwing these signs back, But instead he's like, hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for looking out for me. By the way, who is this?
That sounds exactly like Bob Eisenhower. Bob Eisenhower is the kind of guy that if you text him something, he's not immediately going to ask who it is. He's going to try and handle the business first,
Yep.
and then follow up with, "Hey, by the way, I have no idea." Who
He
this
totally
is.
rocked it. I'm like, oh, crap, Bob. I'm sorry. This is Mike. By the way, how many other people do you know that are digging through garbage? He goes, good point. I should have figured it out.
Anyway, we'll follow up with Family Radio. We'll see if Boova is guilty of the 5 things.
Most likely.
I'm not sure these are men really. They're something. They're manly. They have beards, but anyway, they're supposed to stop doing these things in their 20s. Also, there's an article on 7 reasons why your smartphone is Bilbo's ring from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
It's causing you the death to do valiant things and walk into a volcano.
I never disappear when I put it on.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe that's the point. You disappear to your family.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Your
Hey.
spirits are
that got
disappearing.
deep.
Ah, shoot.
He really did.
It's going to indict me and possibly Jared. All right. Let's. So anyway, that's what we got. You guys got anything, Mike? What do you got going on?
Well, actually, I had an epiphany, and I tried to mold it into Pope-style advice, but it just seemed so full of hubris, but I couldn't do it. So I just have a perspective. There's Mike's perspective You call it that.
All right, we're going to see how bad Boova is at being a 20-year-old, and then you can do Mike's perspective.
Okay.
All right, so, Boova, 5 things hipsters are supposed to stop doing in your 20s.
Hipsters. All right.
All right, you're going to fail the first
It's
one.
going to hit me hard. I know it. I'm a total hipster. Here's the deal.
I skipped too far ahead.
If it's bad enough, I will explain even more than this list of why I'm a hipster. But
Here's one of the things that I need to get rid of.
All right, here we go. Your 20s are an amazing time of life, Boova. That's why it pains me to see that you flounder in the deep end. Frankly, many of us are doing things we shouldn't, especially Boova. The truth is that the foundation you build in your 20s will shape the rest of your life. Studies back this up. 80% of life's most defining moments happen before the age of 35. It's all downhill from here, boys.
Crap.
you guys are just reactions to your defining moments.
Maybe I didn't.
What's it like? I can still change my ways. You guys are cemented.
Man, this was supposed to harass Boova, but somehow it's turned around and slapped me.
Whatever,
like
old men.
Maybe I didn't have an epiphany today. I just had gas or something like. Obviously, new things can't happen to me.
I thought about something new today. Oh, no, just a suggestion.
I have an idea. Or a malfunctioning kidney. Here we go. The truth is that the foundation, blah, 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 studies back this up. Here are 5 things you should stop doing. Boova, number 1. Stop looking for everyone's approval.
Here's the deal. Totally true.
Some call you part of the me generation. Or the mem. Truthfully, many 20-somethings are plagued with the need for constant approval. What they got the social media icons blocking the rest of the story. Everyone around you doesn't have to approve of you. Sure, validation makes you feel good, but so does a back massage. But when this becomes your end goal, you are arbitrarily change yourself in order to please everyone. Some people will like, some people will dislike you. Keep doing what you were called to do. So, but I'm gonna say only half of that description is probably accurate. But otherwise, do you stand as a 20-year-old man, pseudo man, guilty as charged?
Pseudo man. First off, thanks for that.
Here we go.
Totally, yes, guilty as charged.
Okay, guilty as charged.
Okay, am I allowed to defend myself at all or no?
Yeah, but you gotta keep it to like 30 seconds.
Okay.
I don't hear you blubbering on forever about it.
Until the last 6 months, yes, completely. But, well, not even the last 6 months. The last couple of months have totally changed that.
Okay, you're a new man. A new Boova.
I will say I'm in the process. Finally, I'm in the process of no longer being worried about what everyone in the world thinks about me. I still am held by it a little bit, but it's going away.
Okay.
Have you stayed up more than 1 hour to watch how many likes you get on a post?
Have I stayed up to do that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Never done that.
Okay. Win.
Win.
However, my friends give me crap all the time because of how many I get.
Fair enough. That's not your fault, though. That's not on you.
I'm guilty of this too, Boova. I understand completely.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
All right, let's hear it. Number
2.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the continuation
Have a
of
beard
number 1?
and garden.
No, that's continuation of number 1. Holy cats! This article
Wow, this
way
is
longer.
all number 1?
Your
Okay.
self-worth is not based on your social media likes or how your friends feel about them. Oh no, Boova.
Hey man, yeah.
Don't allow people to tell you that you're not capable because you're young.
Wait, is that number 2?
I
Or
don't
is
know, I
that
can't
still
tell-
number 1?
This is oddly formatted. Let's see. Don't allow.
Is this 1C?
Don't allow others to determine your future. 1F. Don't play the comparison game. All right, we're moving on.
Okay, yeah.
2. Here we go.
Yeah.
Stop settling for the easy way. It won't take you where you want. Guilty, Boova? Are you guilty of settling for the easy way?
Maybe a couple years ago.
Don't be lazy.
I mean, okay, yeah. Sometimes I'm still lazy in a lot of stuff, but like within the last year or two, ever since kind of becoming more of a devout follower of Christ and trying to figure that deal out, it kind of eliminates the whole lazy thing. Well, it works to eliminate the whole lazy thing. I'm certainly not there yet, but 7 years ago when I didn't really know Jesus, absolutely. But once I started figuring him out a little bit, it kind of started going away.
Yeah, so I don't know. As a man that knows Boova, I'm going to give you a pass on this one. I don't think this applies to you.
Okay.
I don't see you taking the easy way out. There's subheadings where don't be lazy, work in pursuit of your calling, not just money, leave your comfort zone, and don't play victim. I don't know. Nope. I think that's a full pass. On a pass-fail, I think you partially failed the last one. I think you're a full pass on this one.
Okay, fair enough.
What kind of article is this, Ben?
I don't know.
Okay, continue on.
Stop thinking the life you... It's very really poorly formatted. It's irritating me. Stop thinking the life you want will come without intentionality. Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah.
We're going to skip that one.
Well, now hold on, Ben. That's true of everybody. You say that
Right,
all
I was
the
going to
time.
say,
No, right. I get that part, but like I'm just thinking that like that's not a 20-something thing. I think that applies to everybody.
yeah, you could be 85 and still think something's going to come easily without you having to work towards it or actually work for it.
Yeah, I mean, I know 60-year-olds who are like who want their life to be different, and then I mean, literally do nothing. I mean,
Right.
nothing to do anything about that.
Yeah, if you're a
My mom was
60-year-old and you never
83.
once saved for retirement, but you're really hoping you're going to be there when you're 65, you're in the exact same boat.
My mom was waiting for her ship to come in at 83, and I'm like, Mom, the ship's probably not coming.
You're not even at the harbor anymore.
What,
Prince.
like lottery type action? or
Yeah,
something?
that Publishers Clearinghouse, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
oh, right, whatever.
They
it
got
might
her,
be.
especially when the
Statistically
Alzheimer's hit, it really
speaking.
did get her in trouble.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, man.
Sending money all over the place. I'm like, stop it.
That's not funny. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dan.
Thanks for laughing at my dead mother.
Dang it.
Oh, man.
Mike, that's almost as bad as that shirt.
I'm trying not to be passive.
Yeah. So it says don't be passive, talk less about improving your life, and actually do more. Okay. So agreed, but I think that's across the board. That's a
Yeah, I was gonna
people
say.
problem. Procrastinate less. Here's the deal. I'm in the middle of this.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed that so my wife went out of town recently, and her and the kids all went out to like Montana, and they were gone for a week. And like I'm never at the house by myself. I'm the guy that's gone for a few days or a week or 6 weeks or something, and they stay home. So I was at home by myself. And I thought, like, I'm going to totally waste a week if I am not really intentional about what I do. So I made this, like, really huge list of stuff. Half of it is stuff that I know she would have wanted to do. The other half are things that I feel like she never would have considered that I might get done this week. And I thought, I'm knocking it all out. So, like, I'm installing garbage disposals and water lines for the ice maker. Stuff been sitting for 10 years and ain't got done. I did it. I gardened. I tilled the garden. I put up some landscaping, all kinds of stuff. And so
Could have gardened with Boova.
I know. I didn't know
Just
Boova had
teasing
such a
him about
green
gardening.
thumb.
I don't. I just am there.
So anyway, so I
Garden
got.
buddy.
I mean, I got up at like 6:30 and I went to bed at 10:30, and only 1 hour of that was spent eating cereal and watching TV. I mean, everything else. I mean, I was on fire. I was blowing money at the home improvement store and then putting stuff in at the house. And so I look back on that week and I thought, I am lazy every other week in the year, besides this one. Like. All I had to do, like some of the stuff only took an hour or 2 hours. The cute children are not a hindrance to me. I really could have done them with the kids around. There's no reason I couldn't have done this. And it made me think, like, how often I settle for, I just put stuff off and say, oh, I can't get to that. Whereas when they were gone, it was like 7, what time? It was like 8:30 at night. And it was supposed to rain the next day, and I wanted to build a platform for our garbage cans, right? So I was going to put down, a gravel base and some sand and then some pavers and a thing around it. And I thought, I got to get this done before it rains. So, I mean, I was out there for 2 or 3 hours that night into the wee hours pounding pavers down, and it got done. It looks great. And I thought to myself, like, any other time, I would have just given up on it and said, I'll do it later, which meant like 2 years later. So, anyway, I mean, what I find is that I can get a lot done. I just don't. I don't get a lot done. So
has Amanda planned her next trip yet then?
no, hey, that is a problem, Roy. I've set a high bar. It's my jokes.
Yeah.
My life is my jokes. All right, be less busy. Dang crapola. Boova, what do you think on that? How you doing on being busy?
Okay, give me more context. What do you mean be less busy?
Yeah, it says things you got to stop doing. So stop thinking the life you want will come without intentionality, and part of that is to be less busy.
Hold up. Is be less busy a part of is a subsection of don't be lazy?
Yeah, or stop thinking the life you want will come without intentionality.
And that manifests itself as be less busy.
Yeah, so it says, yes, having too much to do can be a form of passivity. Being busy is easy. In the 21st century, it's a badge of honor. But being busy doesn't translate into high productivity. In a world that's deluged with to-dos, focusing on working smarter, not harder. Focus on your stop doing list instead. This will help you focus on what matters most.
Okay.
Hey, man, I believe that 100%. Like, he said some weird stuff there. But, like,
Right.
The truth is that most of us are busy with crap we have no business doing in the first place. Like, it literally does not matter. And you know where they get you? I was thinking about this the other day because one of the gas stations gives you like this rewards card, right?
Uh-huh.
And I thought, you can get like free pizza and free soda if you get so many points. I'm like, this is great. And then I thought about it, and like by the time it takes me to swipe it, put in my phone number, blah 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 blah, do this thing right, I'm basically gaining about 3 cents every time I swipe this thing. And so like a month and a half later, I'll get one free piece of pizza. And I thought to myself, is this really worth my time? Like, is it one more thing to have to remember, not lose, keep track of, think about Wonder how many points how close I am to this free pizza that I want. Right? I'm like, the pizza's $2.50. I'll just buy the pizza. You know what I'm saying? And be done with it. But like, it's just one more thing to remember and to do, and like one more baseball team to be on, one more thing that you're going to be good at, where you have 5 other things that you're half good at, and you actually love one of those things. You're participating in 10. The one you actually love is sitting there waiting for you to eventually get back to it. And you're like, you know, and then your kids want to talk to you, or your wife wants to talk to you, or they want to go to the park for the night, and you're like, no, I got too much to do. We're not going to. All you guys want to do is go to the park and tell me about your stories, or blah 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 blah. And you're like, something wrong here. Like, your priorities get all flipped around because you agreed to do way too much crap, way too much. I have the same rule about stuff that's been in my house longer than a year. If I have not touched it in a year, I throw it away. It just leaves my house. It can go. That includes bolts and couches and TVs and whatever else is sitting in my house. Games, if we have not played them for a year, we don't like them. Stop fooling yourself. Get rid of them, right? You don't need it. Get rid of it. And like, man, it makes life so much easier.
Oh, man. Now I need to go clear out my house, too.
I'm telling you. You never realize how much crap you actually do not need until you looked at it and thought, have I touched this thing in the last six months? Like, you keep a picture of your parents or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't throw away your photo albums. But, like, good night. I mean, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you know, VHS cassette that you still carry around for the last 5 moves, get rid of it. You don't need that.
Yeah. Oh, man, the sad thing is I have one of those.
Yes, you do.
Oh, don't make me throw away my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You can watch it for free on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's
true.
point.
Boova, the time to stop celebrating your book it achievement that gave you that VHS is over.
Hey, man, I was excited about that VHS.
I read 30 books this summer. Free tapes.
Here's what I will say. I now that it's been kind of switched in explanation, I agree. I have a very hard time saying no. And a lot of the times that leads me down the path of like doing a lot of stuff that seems like it could be cool if the right person's doing them. Right. Like, I cannot possibly be passionate about everything. It's just impossible. To give the point to this person who's writing this article, hipsters totally do this. And myself included in that statement. We think one thing is cool, and so we want to know everything about it and therefore do it all. And so smoking meat. I recently got super involved in that. Like, my buddy is a charcoal smoker. I have an electric smoker, getting really involved in it. And I'm like learning the intricacies of it and like different cuts of meat and all this different stuff. I'm spending a ridiculous amount of time doing this.
Yeah, that's called autism.
What?
When you're
Dan, did you
focusing
just
on
say
one
that
thing.
I'm on the spectrum?
I'm just saying. You're describing part of the spectrum of autism.
Focus.
Smoked meats is
All I
autism.
care about is this bottle. I
Everyone-
only collect bottles
Apparently, everyone who focuses on a skill is therefore autistic now in the eyes of
now.
Dan.
It's the big thing now.
I'm going to give Dan the benefit of the doubt here. But I mean, that's
Holy cats.
flew in from nowhere, Dan.
Out of all the comments that I thought Dan was about to make when he went, you have autism was not one of them. Boova,
No, I'm
you
saying
found yourself
everyone
on
in
the
their 20s
spectrum
does.
today.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's the immunizations that they
well,
did back in the 20s.
Ultimately, it's the jack of all trades thing, but like we forget the second part of that is then master of nothing. And so like I'm excited to get involved in this, and I think it's a cool skill to have. But I also just helped someone build a table, which I'm not good at, and
Cool.
will never get involved in that. And to gardening today, and I got a buddy who drinks tea, and he like seriously. I'm not kidding.
I didn't see that coming.
No, but hold up.
You're an old man. You skipped the 30s, 40s,
I'm not
to the 50s.
just saying like drinks like we go to a tea shop downtown in the hipster area.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
a real hipster thing to do.
Oh, totally, it really is. But here's what I'll tell you.
shoot.
Ever since I
That
started
Gong
making
Fu
that
tea's
tea,
pretty cool, though.
Gong Fu is the best. Gong Fu is straight up awesome. If you walk in there, it smells incredible. Second off, I quit drinking caffeine entirely. I have been caffeine free for over 3 months now, and I stopped drinking pop, and I stopped drinking all flavored things except for like sparkling water, and I wanted something like a warm drink at night. And so I decided to get some loose leaf tea.
Like herbal tea, right?
Yeah, herbal tea. So
Otherwise, it has caffeine in it.
Right, I have caffeinated herbal tea, or decaffeinated herbal tea that's raspberry stuff, and I love it, and I think it's awesome. And I don't have like a tea infuser, nor do I have a specific tea mug.
Well, you
I
might
just
well
have-
do it right, Boova.
I know. Well, here's the sad part: is I
lazy.
totally thought about getting a tea infuser because I have to jimmy rig it right now, where I hang the tea bag on a plastic fork that I put on the outside of my mug. and it just looks totally like janky.
They make those guys that look like they're taking a bath in it. You guys seen that? It's
What?
like they make a tea infuser shaped like a dude
That's
who's got his
awesome.
elbows up, and you put the tea in his belly, and then he leans on your cup like
That is amazing.
like he's soaking in it.
I actually just found
infuses tea.
I just found a tea infuser that's a Death Star, and I'm really excited about that because my mug is a Star Wars mug my girlfriend got me, and so
You do have a tea mug.
well, it's a coffee mug that she got for me, and then I stopped drinking coffee.
I changed it into a team.
I changed it to a tea mug.
Kazam.
But I don't do anything official. I literally have we have a Keurig machine, and it spits out hot water, and so I just
And
press
cancer.
And, well, yeah, I press the button, and it puts a predetermined amount of hot water in there. They've said boil it specifically to 208 degrees. Let it sit for 3.5 minutes. I'm like, I literally have a K-cup machine that I'm going to make certain there's not a cup in there, and I'm going to lift the lid and close the lid and press big. And then it's going to shoot out hot water,
Yeah.
and I'm going to let it sit in there until I drink it. That's exactly what's
I
gonna
always
happen.
do feel like I'm robbing the tea of its natural flavors because I have no thermometer or anything to tell. I'm just whenever the thing goes.
According to
ding, it's hot
ancient
enough.
1,000-year-old tradition, you are, but I kind of don't want to spend that much time on it to where I'm just like, this still
They
tastes
didn't
good.
have
when I just-
thermometers either.
When I was in China, they actually told us that they pour out the first batch of tea and they actually don't even drink that part. They do the second
Yep.
time is the actual time you actually
See,
drink the
that's
tea.
insane, and there's a cool devotion to that, but like I'm just not in on it.
No, I don't think you need to be.
But
Okay,
there's so
that's
many
the
things.
point, right? Though, Boova, you don't
Yeah,
have
exactly.
to be in
There's
on
so
all
many
of
things
it.
that like I want to be involved in because they're all cool things, and there's an awesome culture behind the whole tea thing, and like there's cool flavors to be found, and the foodie scene is really cool to get involved in, to where you find new restaurants and you get to talk to cool people, and getting involved in a butcher scene where I actually have a guy who's a butcher that's actually helping me learn how to cut different types of meat. Like I'm excited about that. Now, I haven't taken it so far as to like be time consuming yet. I mean, I don't do
So
this every
let me
day.
ask you a question, Boova.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I hear what you're saying, right? Like, but like every part of me wants to go. I don't really want to know about different types of cuts of meat. I just want to say, hey, give me the type of cuts of meat I need.
It's
Right?
cheap.
Like,
Right.
I don't want to learn how to cut hair. I just want someone to do it for me that knows how to cut hair. Because I don't want to learn how to do it. Like, I want to be good at what I'm good at, and they're good at what they're good at, and then all of a sudden we got hands and feet moving as a body, doing something, right? And so, like, I'm not saying what you're saying is bad, but, like, every inclination I have is like, not that you just have to be a one-trick pony, but, like, good night. If I just want to be able to walk into the haircut lady and go, do whatever you normally do.
Right.
I don't make decisions here. You're the haircut lady. Do what you do.
And that's totally true. I agree with that to a point, but I like knowing the stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, and maybe it's just my personality when it comes to like wanting to know more about everything, and I don't want to be the best at anything. I like to know about stuff.
I would like to be mediocre at the rest.
Sure, that's it.
Okay.
You can look at it that way if you want to. That's totally fair.
That's how I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
Because I tell Mike. So Mike's in for hands and feet. Boova's in for elbow, calf, toe, butt cheek.
I'd like to be the B-level body parts in this scenario.
It is. I mean, it is interesting, right? Because like you can't. Mike, your version is you take in the world, but you leave expertise to expertise, and you don't even want to know the details about it. Boova, on the other hand, is actually in the same realm. He's saying, like, I care about your expertise, and I'm interested in to hear you talking about it.
Sure.
The overstep is probably when you decide you in on whatever all these expertises are, and that you're going to be part of all that. The likelihood is that you're actually not. You're like pseudo engaging in everybody else's passion without actually being part of your own.
And it's when you invest in it too, because then you've invested money, time, and everything else into it. Like once I had bought like a thing so I could make audio tracks.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money on it, and I was like, and then ended up selling it all back for half of what I bought it for because I didn't have time to learn how to do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm going
Oh,
to do this
man.
thing. You're like, nope, not going to
Yeah,
do
turns
this.
out.
Is
By
it
the
okay
best-
if I don't invest and I just like I exist with other people?
I don't think
who
there's
have?
anything wrong with what you're saying. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. And,
Okay.
and here's this thing: is like sometimes we forget that like we have, the culture has taken a point where like all the base things that everybody used to know is not what everybody used to know, right? Like everyone used to know how to butcher their animal because that's what they had,
Yeah.
right? They cut their own meat and that's what they cooked that night. So when someone said, "Hey, I caught a fish," or "Hey, we need a chicken for tonight," there isn't a one man in the county that couldn't butcher his own chicken. And so like we've lost a lot of that because we farmed out a lot of what it takes to live on a day-to-day basis out to, other people, to corporations and whatever, right? So like some of that base stuff, I'm not saying like you shouldn't know how to cut meat. Actually, I think that's probably a useful skill. I stink at gutting a fish, right? I'm just terrible at it, right? I wish I was better. I just am not good at it. And I would like to have that as a skill so I can cook my own fish when I catch them.
Right.
But on the whole, do I need to what would be a good example? Like, I don't really need to know how to troubleshoot network administration, right? Like, when
Yeah.
my crap ain't working, I just want to call a guy and say, hey, look, can you do what you normally do? I don't want to have to explain this to you. I'm only going to say it in dumb man terms anyway. It's not working. Go fix it, because that's what he does, right? And then when his stuff's broken, he can call me and say, look, can you just stop by and look at it? Because I'll just make it worse.
The way you're putting it, okay, so I agree it's not a bad thing, but like maybe this is a reaction to my earlier laziness. Like, I think that I've existed in a place for so long that like I do farm everything out. Like Mike helps me with everything car related. Okay, so I'm terrible with vehicles, and up until a year ago, whatever happened, or not a year ago, a couple months ago, whatever happened with my vehicle, I would immediately call him, regardless if it was a big issue or not. Be like, hey, dude, I have no idea what's happening right now. I'm almost crying. I'm scared. Please help me. Right? But within the last couple months, I've decided, okay, try and figure stuff out, even if it's small stuff, whatever. Like, just say to yourself that you don't have to call someone to figure this out. Just spend 10 minutes figuring it out. It's actually helped quite a bit. Sure. Cooking is the same thing. I have to cook for myself every day now because I'm just doing different things where I'm not eating the same things I used to. And I'm learning how to cook different stuff because, like, I don't want to just eat scrambled eggs all day, every day. But Saturday, I smoked 20 pounds of brisket because it was on sale, and I'll have that for the next 2 weeks to eat. And that's a cool thing to have, and that's a skill to have that I had to invest in someone else and learn how to do that and understand different methods when it comes to using charcoal versus smoker. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just my overreaction of me being super lazy most of my life and trying to figure out for once, just fix stuff yourself and don't tell everyone else you need it done.
Here's the thing, Boova. Actually, I think I agree with you more than I agree with this article. Though, like, that 20s is your time to figure that stuff out. Yeah, right? You should probably have that start to get whittled down by the time you're 35, right? Yeah. Like, here's what I'm going to be doing with a good amount of my time. Here's what I'm not going to be doing, right? Like, it turns out that I'm not a painter, so I'm not going to paint crap anymore. It's done. I bought the easel. It was a disaster. I sold it. We're done. And so I don't do. So yeah, your 20s is the time to figure this stuff out. I redact everything I said. Have at it, Boova.
All right.
I made a mistake, just like I did in my 20s.
Let's see. The next one was stop expecting healthy relationships to just happen. It's kind of the last one, right? Being intentional about the things you're doing. Yeah. So I would agree with that. It said do away with casual dating, leave toxic people alone.
Okay. As a voice of my generation right now, amongst the five of us, okay? I agree with this entirely. Casual dating is the most obnoxious and disrespectful thing on the planet. It really is. And unfortunately, the dudes of my generation are so stupid that we have made it to where we are a generation of Netflix and chill and hangouts. It's ridiculous. And we look at it from the perspective of saying that, oh, we don't want to commit to something. We're just trying to have fun and blah, 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 blah. But what we're doing is we're undermining and disrespecting the self-esteem of most of the women that we come across and talk to. And what it turns itself into is women that do not know that they deserve better than a guy that just wants to hang out. They deserve to have someone who cares about them and invests time and money and emotion and mental being into them. And it drives me so insane because I'm in college right now and I run into so many girls that are like 18 to 24 are already destroyed because of the guys that have come in their lives claiming to be men that wanted to hang out, have sex, do all of this stuff without any of the consequences, and they destroyed these girls' self-esteem. And I look at them as daughters of my God, and it hurts me. It seriously hurts me. And as a dude that I want to be a father someday and have children, and if the good Lord wants to give me daughters, I swear to you, if a dude shows up at my house and says, hey, I'm here to hang out, and I'm like, I will smack you across the face because I know what that means. Yeah. And it hurts me.
And honestly, that like every generation deals with that.
Right.
I mean, it's a 20s of every 20, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was 20, all my friends were doing that stuff, and I was just like,
it kills me.
Nope.
I'm so sick of little boys parading around as men and using big boy tones and making big boy actions that they do not have the ability to do, and the repercussions are awful. Yeah. And it hurts me and it pains me as someone who knows the worth of them. And then I'm sitting here trying to convince them from afar because I can't really do much because I can't get that emotionally invested into every girl I meet. That's impossible. I'm trying to focus on mine. But like, I wish that I could just convince them, hey, the guys that you've run into that have destroyed you, that have made you feel terrible, and have given you absolutely no worth, they are completely wrong. And you cannot be more wrong about your self-image based off of what that jaganape just said to you or what that jerk-off just did. And it kills me. It seriously kills me. It's all right. It's one of
It gets Boova fired up.
it really does.
The last one was stop expecting your ideal future to happen without work. Again, that sounds like the previous two.
Literally the same
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the end of the list.
So be intentional about your stuff. Stop being too busy just for the sake of being busy, and man the heck up.
Yeah.
Relevant used to be more relevant.
Yeah.
I think the last 10 years they've kind of like
kind of phoning that
split
in.
a little bit. I used to love reading it. I
Yeah.
used to subscribe to it back in the day when it was hard.
I think there's a pressure to complete a list.
Yeah.
I can't just say, hey,
Oh, we're
one,
totally list
one
media.
thing to do in your 20s. Feels like it is not worth his money.
15 reasons
like
to
it's an
stop
easy
reading
article.
lists.
Yeah, it's probably an easy article to write too. Like, oh, let's do a list.
They could have just called that stuff "Everybody Could Do Better" by John. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
everybody could do better. All that stuff.
Part 19.
The list of 5 things, it's really 2.
So it said we were talking about family radio. So after Harold Camping goes, donations are up, and Answers in Genesis joins their programming. This is nearly 4 years after the death of its controversial president, Harold Camping. Family radio appears to be on the mend, with a reported increase in donations and the addition of entities like Answers in Genesis to its regular programming. Family radio garnered national headlines when its founder and former president predicted that the rapture would occur on May 21st, 2011. Thomas Evans, current president and general manager of Family Stations Incorporated, told the Christian Post that listener support has remained steady with a slight increase since 2013. You think it's a bunch of old folks who don't know how to cancel the bank draft?
Yes.
Like they set it up a few years ago and they just have no idea how to even stop the thing, and so it just keeps funding it.
I think that happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even old folks. Sometimes I do that.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't cancel stuff that
Like
I-
magazine subscriptions?
I belonged to a gym for a year and a half, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, there was
it's like $75 a month.
Oh my
I
is
used
stupid.
I used to pay for an online streaming service that I don't think I use anymore at all, and I still pay for. They may not be around anymore. I might have to check on that.
So paying for your MySpace page too.
My top 10 best friends on MySpace. Hey man, that was a prestigious thing. When you got into someone's top 10 on their friends list and you had not previously been there, that was a big deal.
Really?
That meant that you were moving up in their life and your life. I showed up, here's the deal. I showed up on someone's heroes part one time. Someone posted a picture of me from my MySpace on her heroes section. There's no reason I should ever be anyone's hero, especially when I was 17 years old. But it certainly felt great when I was 17. And I was recently reminded of that by my friends.
Tricky.
Man, MySpace.
All right, anyway,
Sorry, go ahead.
They're doing all right. They're doing all right. They're getting some legit programming and donations are up. So once you
Bad
get
doctrine does well. It just does.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's kind of, just bizarre to me.
Well, there's a reason candy coating tastes good.
Yeah.
Answers in Genesis, is that the people who? That's not the Ark people, is it?
yeah,
Is it?
yeah, it's the guys who did the
That's
art.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what their radio program is.
Is it by chance called Live from the Path?
No.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure it's
no,
called
we're good.
Answers in Genesis.
Just checking.
All right. Anyway, that was it. That was that one. We're caught up on the news. Mike, what's your anecdote?
All right. So I was listening to the. I've been reading the IMN book or whatever. Is that what it's called? Ian? IMN?
Yeah, the Nezrani.
The Nezrani.
Yeah.
So I've been reading that book again, and then I was listening to the I Am Nezrani book is basically a story about a bunch of Christians throughout the world and some of the persecutions that they go through, and just some of their backgrounds of their stories of what happens to them, and most of them are within Muslim controlled nations and that kind of jazz. And so anyway, I've been reading that book to feed into it a little bit, and then I was driving into work today, listening to a news story, and they were talking about a couple shows that were coming up for network TV about race in America, like what it's like to be a black man in America and whatever, and the TV critic was giving his 2 cents worth on why some of this was good and some of it was no good, and blah 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 blah. And I thought, for the life of me, I really stink at this, right? Like, and I think the truest thing I can do is just admit that I stink at it, right? Like, I have a certain cultural upbringing. I mean, I grew up in the middle of Whitey McWhiterson, Midwest, Des Moines, Iowa, and there are certain things that I am not going to understand about what it's like to be a black man in this country. You know what I'm saying? Right, wrong, or indifferent. Whether the man committed a crime or didn't commit a crime or did this or didn't do that, There are things about that man's life I'm just not going to understand. There's things about his family I'm not going to understand. There's things about being a Muslim American here that I don't understand. There's things about being a woman that I don't understand, right? And so I think I was thinking about it today, and I was actually praying about it a little bit as I was driving into work. I'm like, I really want to have a better love for people without bringing all my crap in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone says, look, you don't understand the situation I'm in. You didn't grow up as a black man in America, and like my first thought is like, what the heck does that matter, right? Like an egotistical fool. Well, it matters. It's all of it matters, right? That the whole thing matters. It doesn't give you a license to act in abusive or terrible ways or anything, but like there's a certain set of circumstances that I drew across the board, just like we were just talking about earlier about the guy that could butcher his own chicken. 100 years ago, everybody butchered their own chicken. Everybody plowed their own fields. Everybody took care of their own house. That was culturally true for everybody, right? And when I look at my upbringing, I go, everybody got to go to school. Everybody ate at least 2 meals a day. Everybody had clothes. That's not true for everybody. That's not true for everybody, right? Everybody got to come home and they weren't wailed on by their old man. Okay, that's not true for everybody. I mean, I grew up in a single parent household, right? And I would not have been able to tell you the difference on what a single versus a married household looked like, right? But there are parts of that will equal a deficit to me later in life, just frankly because I just didn't know how to run a marriage. I didn't know how to run a marriage when I got married. I never saw one going down, And so like the things where sometimes we go, look, I'm tired of you playing the race card. Well, look, it's a legit card. I don't know that you get to play it for everything, right? But it's a legit card, and we have to. I feel like sometimes I don't know that there are times when people are playing their card of like I grew up poor, or I grew up as a woman or a Muslim or whatever, and you don't understand this about me. And what I have to start remembering is that those things actually are true. Whether I want to hear about it, it might not even be relevant to the conversation we're having right now. But it is still a fact. I don't know what it's like to grow up a Muslim in this country. I'm sure it's crappy, right? I'm sure it's crappy. I don't know what it's like to grow up as a black man, a black woman, a Hispanic man, whatever, a Korean. I don't understand any of those things, right? But I do know you as people, and I can do better at that, right? And so anyway, I was just trying to think of how insignificant. I shouldn't say insignificant. I was trying to think how I can humble the way that I look at the world, right? Like some of the stuff that's going on in the Middle East, especially for Christians. I read these stories and they don't actually sink below a recognizable level to me. It's like when someone says, hey, you're going to take a mortgage out for $150,000. I go, yeah, that's just an unreal amount of money to me. If someone said, hey, your car's broke, it's going to cost you $600, that's devastating. I'm like, $600? Yeah, right, where are we going to get $600? Right? But they're like, sign right here for $150,000. I'm like, yes, no problem. I don't even know what that means. It's an outrageous amount of money. And so I get the same thing when I read these stories about the way these, some of the Christians in the Middle East are treated. They're like, they say, stop talking about your Jesus and praise Allah. And when you don't, we're gonna stick you on a chunk of ice and then beat you with a belt. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that sounds like it's rough, but it can't sink past a certain point for me. I don't actually realize what they're saying, And so I feel like I do that a lot. I feel like I do that with people that I don't understand, where they don't have the same upbringing that I do, and with people that are going through things that I don't understand. And I thought, on the whole, I'm tired of sucking at this. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of not being able to take in a whole person and only taking in an issue or the political prose for the day. So anyway, like I said, there's not really Pope-style advice there. It just kind of hit me that there's a certain amount of what God's currency is people, right? God, he's done everything for his people. That's what he does. And so he has spent all his time on creating a world, creating a relationship, creating an ebb and flow and a design merely for his people. It's all for his people. I could at least take the same consideration. I could at least try to take them in as who God says that they are. And boy, I really suck at that sometimes. I just like to do better. I don't want my first thought to be the stereotype I grew up with, right? And maybe that's going to be a hard fight because maybe they think the same thing about me, right? But like, I don't know. I don't want to settle for the first thought being whatever I grew up with is my first impression of folks. Like, I want God to change that in me. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about this morning.
I think what's interesting there is recognize that actually you. what you're talking about wanting to do and what people are generally expressing, like when they're saying, you don't know what's like to be X or Y or Z in America. Like, really all they're saying is, like, you don't know me, right? Like, you don't understand me, you don't understand my story. We may say, look, you've bundled a bunch of stuff, and it's a cheap description to say it's attached completely to your
race or ethnicity,
to your skin color, right? Sure. Right. So like, and it's just as cheap on my side of the conversation as it would be for the person that said it, right? But like, here's the deal: what they're expressing, if I can give benefits of the doubt here, what they're expressing is you don't know what it's like to be me, and the truth is they're probably right.
Yeah.
And until I've actually taken the time to do that, I should be real careful before I talk real broadly, right? So like, and I think you're right. Some people will use that. We'll use a broad description as a weapon. Where if we say, look, we just don't do broad descriptions. You say, like, if I need to know somebody, then let's do that. Let's have that conversation. How do I get to know somebody? And like, I don't accept the broad description that says you don't know what it's like to be let's say it's a black man in America, right? Are you telling me I could take two black fellas in here and like their lives are all the same? One guy had a dad that wailed on him, one guy didn't. Sure. Like one guy, like they all, you start narrowing down and say you don't know what it's like to be a black man living in Cabrini Green in the mid '70s. I mean, okay, all right, now we're starting to share some context, right? And I get it. And it may very well be true that there are characteristics of our culture that you can paint with a broader brush. But the thing is like I actually don't know that because it's not been my life. And so how do you remedy that is when someone says, look, you don't understand me because blah, 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 then I say, great, I would love to hear the whole context. I want to know.
But I think it's masterful that Satan has honestly done that in a lot of ways because he's allowed us to put them on ourselves so that we can use them as defense mechanisms, and he's also allowed people to use them as weapons. So it's like it's what you do. Like everything is politicized, everything is a label. So if you hide behind the label, you don't have to deal with the person that you are. Right. Or I mean, that's everything about, every social uprising that comes about is because it's all about a label that you've been able to put on yourself and say, okay, this is what we're for, as opposed to the value of the person themselves. So if you put a value on the label that is out in front of them, then you can attack the label all you want. Right. And forget about the person behind it.
Right, because it's not personified, right? Like, as opposed, I get to say these people, I get to deal with big groups, I get to deal with big ideas. I don't have to look individuals in the face. I don't have to look circumstances in the face, maybe things that I don't want to deal with, because I can group them, and then I can do so in a faceless way. Right.
But you know what's funny is, though, I would promote the exact opposite for the Christian people. I would prefer if we were thought of as a group congruent in behavior. You know what I'm saying? That the love was obvious, and like it doesn't matter which one of us you found, we're pretty much the same. We love like God, we love like Christ loves it, and I'm promoting the exact opposite with my Christian faith, but then looking at everyone else on an individual gray.
Right. It's because we're not fighting for our own identity there, right? Like this is the basic nature of Christianity, which doesn't fit nicely into any other belief system, which is to say ours is to give up. Ours is to give up our own identity and have it just be in Jesus and try to make that consistent across the people group. Whereas the other ways of doing that in almost any other belief system or cultural norm or whatever are a quest to show uniqueness.
See me, know me, this is me.
Yeah, and we're like, I don't really matter. What do you think of Jesus? It's just Christianity is different.
And every people group has its way of putting their own values on that. Like I was reading an article, I have come across, Brad Pitt was on this article for GQ, and like he was like talking, and one of the paragraphs that came through, and actually I think I saved it, he talks about Christianity, of course puts the F word in it, but he talks about how he didn't really buy into Christianity because it was all about doing and not doing, and I was blown away by it because I was just thinking the world is so confused about what Christianity is. Yeah. It's not a list of do's and don'ts. It is a relationship with a creator who loves us, and it's about that identity. And the same thing happens when we look at every other label people group. We think, okay, this is what their beliefs and their values are. They're a list of this, they're a list of that, as opposed to no, they're people who have a love for this, or they're people who follow this, or they're people. It's all about they're just a list of this, and that's all they are. And we want that taken off of us just as much as they want it put on them. Yeah. And it's confusing.
Right. Ultimately, it's laziness.
Yeah. What a backwoods redneck way of doing something. You know what I'm saying? That's crap. That's crap. I just think it would do better. That's all.
Boova, what is it with that conversation? Does that as a man in college and kind of around a different age range of folks, do you feel like that's still a relevant conversation for you?
In regards to just Christianity in general?
No, I suppose the labeling of folks, like the search for unique identity, the concept that says is it a struggle where Mike is saying, look, I struggle with trying to reject or not accept people's self-description of where they're at, of what their stories are, but otherwise pursue deeper than that, so that we're seeing people on an individual level versus some of what Jared is describing, which is kind of this easy labels make easy targets, which makes not being responsible for how we react to those big things as opposed to dealing with people as individuals.
Ultimately, it's this weird place where everyone in college is trying to define themselves and walk on eggshells with everyone else at the same time. We have rallies of people that want to talk about certain subjects that or identities, whether it be Muslim Americans that want to argue about what ISIS is and how it has nothing to do with actual Islamic faith and all this different stuff. Then we have teenagers that have not had any kind of difficulty in their life from what I've seen that want to sit there and talk about the hardships that they've been through versus and all the hardships that have happened in the world, and like they're sitting in a college in Des Moines and they want to talk about the hardships that are happening in the rest of the world like they've been there. And so it's this weird place where you have two sections of people. You have the people who are militant about identity, right? In a weird way where either they are militantly trying to redefine themselves and identify themselves, or militantly trying to change your identity of other people. And then there's these people that are so scared by what they think they might be or think they might not be that they don't want to have conversations about it at all. And so it doesn't play itself out in like everyday conversations at the lunch tables, but in certain classes, things get brought up. Like I was in a marriage and family class this last semester, and we had a whole section on our gendered selves. And we wanted to talk about different types of genders, like pansexual, or not just genders, but like orientations as well, pansexuals, bisexuals, asexual people, all this different stuff. And it caused this weird heated debate about like what orientation is at birth and how it develops within people. And then that worked into gender, like what does it look like to define yourself as male or female biologically versus male or female emotionally and psychologically and all this different stuff. And it manifested itself in this weird militancy in a few people that really were fired up about it and wanted to talk about it. And the rest were just passive and didn't want to have the conversation. And I think you can take that feel and put it on almost every conversation throughout the college and every thought process of you get the people that are super militant about identification and everyone else's identification. And you get the people that are just like, I don't know the subject and I don't want to talk about it. And it's this weird pool and mix.
All right. Good way to go, Mike.
Well, and Boova's right. Like, it's not like this comes up all the time, and like, I don't know. I just feel like after hearing the way that people talk about, where they came from and whatever, you're right. It's a very individual thing, right? But basically it would help me out a ton if they'd stop putting people in groups. Because I won't look at them that way if you don't. Like my mind has to go on the easiest thing that can operate. I got a million things going on in my life, and if you're like, hey, I'm in this group, I'm like, good, because I can remember you and all those people just by remembering the group. But like on the other hand, I'd just rather know you as a person. I don't really care, all this other crap about you. That you're like, I'd hate to say, hey, I define myself by the people I hang out with and my savior, right? But you're right. I'm trying to give up an identity and point towards a different one that we're all agreeing to point towards. And those other people they're trying to stand out as individuals. I'm like, man, I just can't. You're too much. You're just too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't. I don't know how to handle that, right? Like, I can't admit enough times that like I don't know what you went through or your entire experience, and like I'd like to listen. I'd like to hear it. But like, can you stop being mad at me for not understanding? Because I just don't, and I'm sorry that I don't. I'd really like to, but I don't, But tell me, I want to know, It's tough. I don't know. I'm awkward too, so throw that in there. And like, I just don't. I don't know how to interact with people, All right, we got time for a little bit of advice here.
Yep.
All right, dear life from the path. My husband and I argue over which way to put the silverware in the dishwasher. He says when he worked in restaurants, he was told to put the handles down. I was taught by my grandmama to put the handles up. So when you grab the utensils to put them away, you're not touching the part that goes in your mouth. I said, well, when you're doing the dishes, do them your way, and when I do them, I'll do it my way. But of course, we spend a lot of time rearranging each other's silverware. What is the correct way?
What? I'm constantly trying
Handle
to
down.
offload this responsibility.
Handle down.
Handle down?
Handle
That
down.
is the restaurant.
That's the restaurant way to do it, because then if there's any residue that collects, it collects at the top of the handle, not at the top of where you put your mouth in.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do it upwards, doesn't it get better exposure to the jets?
And you don't touch it before
No,
you...
it's in like that's the right way to do it. The handle
Handles are
down.
down.
Handle down, tines up.
But
Time's
see,
up.
I agree with the non-professional though, because I say the dude who's at the restaurant, that's all they're doing is washing dishes. So their hands are, pretty much clean when they're picking up the silverware. At my house, I may have just gone to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hey Dan, maybe
Wait,
you can
wait,
fix
wait,
that by
wait.
washing your
Now
hands after you're in the bathroom. I don't know.
I was
I
just-
didn't realize this wasn't something you figured out in your 20s.
my dog may have just gone to the bathroom. and
Deal again. The sink is still there. The soap is still there.
Dan does not subscribe to the traditions of the Pharisees.
I may have just itched myself.
He's so afraid of ceremonial washing.
I'm just saying, you don't know where your hands have been, and I just soon I do it incorrectly, and my wife does it correctly.
I know exactly where my hands have been.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like they were attached to me the whole time. They didn't like run off on me. Like, hey, hands, where you been?
Hey,
Really?
my left hand does not know what my right hand does.
Luckily, my brain controls both.
Where have you been? I don't know. That's not enough.
I do what I do.
Yeah, that's right. Left hand, where have you been? I was with you all night, okay?
I've been here this whole time.
I was in some sort of elbow-knee combo with Boova.
And we do not have a commercial dishwasher at home with commercial chemicals.
True.
Okay, so that's the argument for tines down.
I put the utensil part down so that you pick it up by the handle and put
Yeah.
it away, and you never touch the part that goes in my mouth. I
Well,
don't
no,
want anybody
you-
touching that part.
I don't feel like you need to like grab this thing like a caveman, like you just slam your.
I get as
hand
many
down
as
on the
I
top
can
and-
in my
Yeah,
hand.
that's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
if
You
Then I
load
start
up as
sorting
many,
like cards.
distribute,
Okay,
hope
maybe
they
you should
fall
do
where
your
they may.
dishes more often
Exactly.
that you don't have 80 forks in at a time.
Hey, some people are in a family of 4 or 5, Boova, not your
understand.
bachelor
So-
pad.
sometimes a
box.
family of two.
I don't
that's what-
live in a bachelor pad. I live in with a family of 6. I do the dishes with a family of 6.
How do you, I'm sorry. So, like, when you're loading with the handle down, like, doesn't that make for awkward, slow loading of them? Because
Then the knives are sticking up too.
Yeah, but
no, you
wanna
just grab a
expose them
bunch
to-
in the sink once you've cleaned them and you set them down.
They slice your palm on the way down.
Hold on a minute. I don't clean them in the sink. That's what the dishwasher is for.
You gotta expose them
You
to
gotta
the
rinse
jets.
Okay, we're gonna get this is gonna be a whole different conversation.
You
Never mind.
clean them first?
We do not-
I wash in sink
offended.
and put in dishwasher.
I wipe ours off just to make sure there's nothing on there that gets stuck later.
I don't trust dishwashers enough to not wash them at least a little bit beforehand.
Well, then there shouldn't be any residue to get stuck in the tines if you go bottom down.
That I will say though, I learned that in restaurants and I've done it ever since. I was a dish guy at Pizza Hut for a while and I've done it ever since.
Yeah, it's a restaurant thing.
No.
My father-in-law was the
When
restaurant
I was in
dude,
my
sold
teens and I was
chemicals
learning how to
stuff.
do things in life and learning if I wanted to smoke meats or if I wanted to be a car guy, I was like, I think I'm gonna try my hand at pizza for a while.
At least I know how to do the silverware.
And then they specifically said, "You're not even gonna touch pizza. You're
Yeah.
gonna be doing the dishes."
You should stay away from the customers. Go into the dishwasher.
Hey, you look like
Hide in
Igor.
that corner.
We don't want them to know we have a bridge troll working for us. Will you go in
That's
the
right.
back, please? Because no one wants to answer your 3 questions.
Tines up, caveman.
Hands them down.
So we have divided advice.
Oh, yeah. Everything I learned in life, I learned from corporate America groupthink.
Yeah, look where that's got us. Shoving everybody in groups and treating them like a bunch of
Tines.
llamas.
No, yeah, I'm saying, okay, here's the thing. I think her compromise was a fair one. I think any additional arguing over this is silly.
You're just trying to bicker.
Yeah, let it go. Here's the deal, and if you like it so much, husband, then do the dishes all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's not going to complain.
easy.
Well, and is there clear, results? Like one that cleans better than the other? If they've seen clear results, then you got your answer right there. But if not,
Scientific method
it
style.
doesn't matter, right?
I think it's unclear
If
for
I-
a reason. Yeah.
If I see a thumbprint on my spoon, I'm putting it back. Not
just
back.
wash
I'm putting it in the
I've
sink.
had-
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why don't you just wash it, man?
No, you put it back in the dishwasher. Let it go around too.
Yeah.
No,
Just like if
yeah.
I see a bowl got something stuck on, I'm like, nope,
Yep,
stays
nope.
in for another round. I ain't scrubbing that. It's got to go through twice before I'll put the scrubs to it.
Yeah, I give it to the dog. If the dog can't handle it, then it goes back in the dishwasher.
Actually, I feel like if the dog can't handle it, I throw it out. I feel like
If the dog can't get this off, nothing can.
Seriously, the dog. She's straightening a lot of stuff
that
up.
I mean,
That's lived through the power of nature.
Here's the deal. Look at the dog. That dog cleans their whole self with that tongue. You tell me if it
that's
can't clean
gross.
that dish off, then it's time to let it go.
Yeah, that's true.
That lasagna. ain't
Don't ever
either.
let me know when you got potlucks coming up. I don't think I'll be there.
Yeah, can you label your crock pot, please?
No. Potlucks are roulette. Yeah.
After countless call center
Ain't that
potlucks,
true?
you are absolutely right.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't win if you don't play. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, man, that cheese dip was delicious, but 9 out of 10 people are sick. What did the 10th person not eat? That's the person who's smart.
Actually, that is the key. If there's like a Las Vegas of of potluck roulette, it's like a bean salad or like some sort of taco dip.
True.
Yeah, with multiple colors in it, and you're like,
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I always stay away from just little smokies. Not even barbecue. I like people who brought a crock pot full of just little smokies, which were basically they opened the package, dumped it in, and then turn it on.
Yeah.
I don't trust that because it's normally the single dude that probably didn't wash his hands before he did all that stuff. Like Dan.
Why would
not
you
being a
point at
single
me?
man. I don't know where my hands have been. Not in my mouth. Get away from me, Johnny.
My left hand be scratching. I can't stop him.
I did an armpit
If
fart
you
before
can't
I
put
did
in,
that.
if you can't put in the effort to dump barbecue sauce on this, then I don't trust your ability to clean yourself before you make cocktail wieners.
No, that's true. A guy who obviously doesn't make that for
Yeah.
himself.
I brought the chips. Yeah, you're the lazy man that I don't know if you wash your hands.
Hey,
But I will
Ruffles
eat his
bag-
chips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
will
right.
eat his
I will
chips.
eat his chips, but not his weenies. Okay, I agree.
Yeah, and that exact same guy will stop at the Hy-Vee deli, buy 3 brand new bowls, and then dump the deli food in it like it came from his place. I trust that man.
It's like, dude, I've known you. I trained you. There's no way you can cook. That's a lie. And this tastes exactly like the potato salad I had at Hy-Vee yesterday. Stop lying to us.
I like that. I like when people do that. All right. Secular says the answer to your question should be as simple as consulting the user handbook that came with your dishwasher, which everybody keeps.
Boo.
I consider that part of the packaging, and it gets thrown away directly. I'll Google it later if I need to find it.
Exactly.
All the buttons have labels for a reason. You don't need the walkthrough.
It says most, if not all, brands caution owners to put knives in the basket with the points facing down. However, to prevent nesting, spoons and forks will get optimum water pressure if they are facing up. I agree. Yeah, I put the stuff up. Knives down, everything else up. That's the way it rolls.
Yep.
Everything down. Grab whole stuff in sink, dump in, let it fall. It's fine. I've not had any problem. I've not had any listeria. I've not had any medical deformities
Yet.
with the children. I think it's fine.
I have to ask the kids. They do the dishes.
No, see, that's I don't trust. I have a butt scratcher. That middle one goes, no, she can mow the lawn, but she's not going near the dishes. I mean, like, she does it second nature. If there's a competition, she's second place every time.
Oh, man.
I'm ready, Mike.
Oh, hold on. I had one, and then I'm like, man, it's stupid.
I was looking for the owner's manual to see if it actually says that, what she's saying.
What, the owner's manual for a dishwasher?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I used to sell them, but I don't remember the specifics of it.
Cooking products, cleaning products, dishwashers. Here we go.
It's got to be in there. I'm just telling you, restaurants do it.
Okay, you ready? I'll hit you with this while you're looking for it.
Okay.
Dear Life from the Path. A year ago, I lost a tooth. I'm a 56-year-old woman on disability, short on funds to rectify the problem, so I visited my local hospital's dental clinic. I hadn't visited a dentist in years, so I was quite fearful. The clinic allows a dental resident to work on your issue under the supervision of a practice dentist. The work I needed was performed every 2 weeks for about 4 months. What I did not count on was becoming seriously attracted to a 29-year-old resident I'll call Justin. At first, I couldn't believe it was possible, given the fact that I'm old enough to be his mother and my ex-husband is a doctor. I was a teacher, and I know all the, quote, rules. In fairness, in no way did Justin or I do or say anything inappropriate. Still, certain circumstances led me to believe that he felt the same about me. Neither of us acted on this. My question, the work has been over for months, but some days the memories are so intense, I can't get him out of my mind. I don't know how to handle this. Please help.
Watch a soap opera.
Oh, man.
Like invest a lot of time into a soap opera and let your drama be fueled by that, not in your need to pursue a 29-year-old man that you're not certain but maybe might have had a weird fling with when he was working on your teeth.
I mean,
Wait, she's not married?
no, 56-year-old woman.
I said go for it.
On disability, short on funds to rectify a problem.
You say go for it after months of not talking, and she goes, "Hey, Justin, you remember when you worked on my tooth?"
Why not?
And you were,
Time is short.
And you were burning with passion for me, and then you haven't called me.
Hey, you won't know. You won't know unless you try.
I noticed the way you brushed against me.
Yeah, okay. How does she get his information?
She goes back to the hospital.
That's creepy.
Is Justin
Or
in?
she finds him on social media. It's
Creepier
also
things that
creepy.
happen in movies and they end up together. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Talk about soap operas.
okay.
This does
Why not?
have a-
Transformers
it does
is
have
also a movie, Jared.
Could make a great.
It has a tinge of a book that would have Fabio on the cover and some kind of splashing waves in a mountain.
or an episode of Scrubs. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like
Anesthetized lovers.
29-year-old.
Maybe it's the laughing gas talking, but
Yeah, but Justin loves me.
She needs to move on.
Did you use the bubblegum
Don't even
fluoride?
try. Don't even give this a shot.
Don't. Let him be a man and come after you.
Yeah, that's true. If he was the man that you hoped he was, he would have been at your door already saying, I know this is wrong.
But I looked up your address. in our
but
files.
HIPAA would have prevented him from looking up her address.
exactly.
See?
I
So
was
maybe
gonna
he's
say,
like, I can't contact her, but if she contacts me, it ain't my business.
I
Hey,
broke
hey.
HIPAA laws to show up to here,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
I'm gonna tell
Got
you
a
so-
sweet tooth?
I'm going to tell you something about HIPAA. It's what the hospital uses to scare you into not prying on their own business. But behind the curtains, they're doing all kinds of laughing, looking up crap, telling people all kinds of stuff about you. I'm almost certain of it. I'm certain of it. There's a curtain in the middle of the hospital somewhere where they're like, Greg blah, blah, blah has 15 warts. And I took pictures of them, and they're going on social media.
They do watch for it.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but like they like go after it. Like, you know, hey, you work at the hospital, you can't post that. Nope.
Pretty serious
when
about
I
that
was
stuff.
when I was working
Even
at the call
stuff that's
center,
unrelated.
we had a department that
Now,
did
you're third string. You're not first line. Call center. No.
what?
No. No.
We had to teach about HIPAA laws because we had a department that dealt with pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it's like I said, the third string dude's pretty important. Right on. Yeah, they make it a big hairy deal. Doctors?
They
No.
did.
No, they tell all kinds of lies, secrets everywhere. I'm telling you, I know the way these people operate.
Hey, so here's a from a GE dishwasher manual. Says put flatware in the removable silverware basket with handles up to protect your hands. Mix knives, forks, and spoons so they don't nest
Now, it
together.
doesn't say to get better washing.
It just says to protect your hands.
Move it. Here's
In
what I'm-
either case, it's in the instruction
Yeah.
manual.
The
There's a
instruction
picture of
manual
it
is
being
making
done.
certain that they don't get sued, not that you have
Yeah,
clean
that's
dishwasher.
flatware,
Excuse
and then
me.
it says silverware.
Yeah.
The pagan said, you should just refer to the manual. That's what I have done, and it says handles up.
Who cares why? That's just
Yeah.
what it said to
Yeah.
do.
You're right. The pagan is incorrect.
It said you can keep the spoons from spooning by mixing a fork.
Okay, now listen here. You're going to live your life this way. You got some serious ways to reconsider the way you use your sink, your toilet, your shower, your lawnmower, and your vehicle.
What do you
And
mean?
Q-tips.
Yeah, you can't barely do anything. If you read the owner's manuals from anything, you can't
Q-tips
barely.
expressly say, do not put into ear.
Yeah,
You and I both know you
Wait,
do.
what's this for?
yeah. I
Where'd
use
you
them
put
to
it?
groom my eyebrows. I dip them in Carnauba car wax, and I go, whoop.
What is that?
I don't... Mike, I feel like for years, you've made fun of me for certain things that have happened. And, like, I've taken it. But you just nonchalantly said that you groom your eyebrows with Q-tips and certain wax.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I'm glad we've
I mean,
now
I
run
do it while I drink heavily and listen to hard rock music, so it's still manly.
I just fixed a truck and then groom my eyebrows.
3 out of the 3 things I just said aren't true.
It's all about balance.
Isn't there a lumberjack song like that?
Here's a newer dishwasher, like 15 years older than the original one I looked at. It says put flatware in the removable basket with fork and knife handles up to protect your hands. Place spoons in the basket with handles down.
Right on.
Gross.
That's just gross. I
Lots
hate
of
that.
thumbprints
Okay,
there.
now who's going to take the time to differentiate between all of them? Like, that's obnoxious. I can dig on putting knives handle down or knife end down, handle up to make sure you don't stab yourself when you grab your
I'm
stuff.
sorry, was
But
the fork is not a stabbing problem? That seems worse.
I feel like I'd be more likely to actually injure myself with a knife, like a steak knife, than I would be grabbing a bunch
Yeah.
of forks.
You ever put a fork on your fingernail though? That hurts.
No,
Been there.
not
Hey,
that.
never like. Oh,
The fork is the
I fairly.
devil's utensil.
I look both ways before I shove my hand into my dishwasher to grab all my utensils.
you got
Well,
more
then
time
you
than I
shouldn't have
got.
to worry about putting the handles up then, Johnny Cautious.
You
Just
don't
pick them up
You don't
as they
see
face.
those cartoons of Satan with the ears holding a butter knife What's he got there? Fork.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a fork.
I don't normally eat with a full-on 6-foot-long pitchfork, but when I start,
When you're smoking that meat, buddy, you're going to be.
yes, I stand outside the pit with a giant red pitchfork and I have a cape on and I poke at everything.
Where's
That
my
would give you some legs.
smoking Triton?
I'm going to
What will I
have a
eat baked
smoking
beans
trident now. I'm very excited about that.
You're going to get a lot of likes on that one.
The Lord will restore this when he refines the world. Spoons for everyone.
But the smoke ring on this brisket is beautiful.
All right, Secular says, the quotes rules you referred to are a code of ethics that professionals are expected to adhere to. Only second and third stringers. First stringers do what they want. The way to handle your feelings would be to consider that if Justin were to act on the feelings you think he shared with you, he could lose his job, and the future he has worked so hard to build would be destroyed. If you care about him at all beyond your attraction, you will not pursue this further.
But if Justin cared about you, he wouldn't care about that future.
That's true.
You're his future.
His future's with me. He'll groom my eyebrows.
Now, it's just interesting how this ties in a little bit to the previous conversation. Now, think about this woman giving him up, right, for his own sake. But she really means something to him. You wouldn't know that woman had done something like that if you were to meet her in everyday life. Right? So, like, normal interaction with a woman like that, she's given up something that I would be like, hey, that's a little silly, but actually meant the world to her. And my interaction with her probably will never prompt her to share that story. Yeah. But it is something that she will carry with her that meant something to her. And the truth is that most people have something like that. That, like, even when pressed, they're probably not going to say out loud. But regardless, the reality is that they're carrying something pretty heavy. And that impacts how they act in life. So, I mean, I suppose getting down to knowing people on a personal level, just know that, like, that's probably true for most people. And so just be careful how you interact with folks. This lady's making a decision that I feel is easy, but is difficult for her.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, you've been hanging out with us at Live from the Path. We do appreciate that. Shoot us an email, info@livefromthepath.org. How do you load the dishwasher? I'm a little bit interested. And do you still have... Wait, actually, I tell you what. Here's what I find more important than that question. Do you still have the manual to your dishwasher? Because that tells me something about you that I'm interested in knowing. So go ahead and put that on a Twitter or something so we can know who you are. In case there's trouble, I know where your house is located. And in the meantime, be faithful in the means. God will handle the ends. You